Hi, welcome to this week's BS Talk, where we're talking about another piece of equipment we use a lot. This week's the audio recorders, interesting UVPs, things like that we get. What's your overall take on the audio recorders, as far as the expectations going into it and the results we got?
So, I have to say, like, when it comes to our audio recorders and equipment, I was probably most excited about those because whenever you research, whenever you see other paranormal teams, whenever you watch the paranormal shows on TV or what have you, some of the most, I guess, creepy things you get are when you're in a room by yourself, you did not hear or at least register any noise around you, and then there's something that should not be there on the audio recorder. To me, that's pretty awesome. It's one of the reasons why I would be willing to accept evidence of truly paranormal things with audio equipment, not just with my eyes, but also clear audio evidence. Because I think that that's just as significant as physically seeing something. So, like, I think there was a lot of excitement going into being a paranormal investigator and using audio equipment.
Yeah, I had high hopes for the audio too. It definitely makes you feel better. Like you hear weird things, like our experience in the stairwell at the Windsor, and you go back to audio, and you're like, "Oh, okay, I wasn't crazy. I wasn't imagining that." It's a nice thing to know something was there. And then I'm like you though, it's kind of creepy when you're sitting in a room and you think, man, there's nothing in here. And then we go back over the audio recorder and it's like, whoa, somebody was talking to me or somebody was moving or something like that. And I'm with you. That's just as good as to me as getting something on video. I mean, you still got to go through the work of, okay, was there somebody in the next room or somewhere else? But like you said, all the other shows, they always get some great stuff on audio. So, it exceeded my expectations. I think we got way more sounds on the audio than I ever expected to get. I figured we'd kind of be able to hear everything, but we didn't.
Yeah, and even now the kind of haunted hotel kick I've been on for a while now. I think some of the best things I've gotten have been audio.
Yes, absolutely.
Honestly, I think that the Patterson Inn audio piece from the Biltmore room, if I wasn't talking when that happened, I think it probably would have been a Class A EVP. It's just it happened while I was whispering, and I'm not entirely sure, like, if there is even a way to know that something's happening without, like, how do I put it? It's hard to know that you're catching something when you can't hear it. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Like, if I would have known there would have been something there, I wouldn't have been talking. But because I was talking, it was over my voice,
Yeah, well, it's like the other one. You may remember where it was. Remember, you asked if they wanted you to leave, and you heard nothing, so you kept talking. But then and we went back on audio. We heard a yeah.
Oh yeah, well, what was that for? Was that?
Man, I don't remember where that was, but you're like, do you want me to leave? And then when we went back over audio, we heard yeah. And you sent it to me, and I was like, oh, that's plain as day. That's a yes. Like that's as plain as you can get. I can't remember.
Oh, I think it was the Eldridge.
Yeah, I think it was.
Because I was in the room of 6, and it was yeah, I had just heard a knock, and I just kind of kept talking, kept going, and eventually that happened. So yeah.
And then there was there was another one, a hot hotel you did where you asked, "Is your name so and so?" And they came back as plain as day, yes. And that happened to be one you were telling me there was nobody even in the next room. booked in that room that night. So that was the one where there was what the older sister and the younger sister.
Oh, that was Hotel de Funiac.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
That was Hotel de Funiac.
Yeah, and you asked the name, and they said, "Is your name whatever it was, Elizabeth? Maybe I can't remember." But and they said yes.
I think Elizabeth was one of the spirits at the Windsor.
Yeah, that may have been that. Yeah, I may be confusing the two. Yeah, you asked, and they said yeah. I mean, we didn't have a clue till we went back on audio. That was
Well, and I think that one of the things people underestimate are like, they think in order to do paranormal investigations, you have to have the most like amazing super like gear to catch this stuff.
right.
These audio recorders were cheap. They really were. They're like
Right.
15, $20 each.
Right, and the weirdest thing is for our first year, it's like the cheap equipment has gotten the best results.
Mm-hmm. That's why I've kind of been willing to buy more of it, is because like it works. It works.
Yeah. And the things we spent the most money on doesn't seem to get hardly any results. But
yeah, I have yet to get anything on thermal. I have yet to get. I think thermal is really the one expensive thing we have. Because we have physically gotten some curious things on IR. We've gotten some curious things through flash photography, of course. This is another tool I think people underestimate. How much you have on your phone. You have a flash photography on your phone. You have a camera on your phone. And you have the potential for audio recording.
Uh-huh.
The three of like the core tools of a paranormal investigator are on the phone on itself. Like, it's really easy to like access that.
Right. I mean, phone could be, and everybody takes their phone with them. So,
yep.
And that may be something we do next time, set up our phones to start recording. I don't think we did much of that as far as voice recording. Yeah. We did video, but we didn't do much voice.
I have started using equipment kind of wildly. So like I've pretty much switched over to my phone as my primary source of flash photography. I do have 3 audio recorders, and if I've placed them in places where I want them to record on their own, and I've used up all 3, I will switch my phone over to that audio recorder for a 4th location if I feel the need for it. And that's what I love, is the fact that, when you have such sensitive objects, because these audio recorders we have, they are super sensitive. The most recent episode I uploaded was from the Victor Hotel, and Eric and I were standing on the 3rd floor, and we heard a knock or a thud from the other side of the hallway. You listen to it on the audio recorder, it sounds like it's right beside us. And it, like, to our ears, it was on the other side of the hallway. Even our cameras registered the audio from the other side of the hallway. These recorders are super sensitive to sound.
Yeah, and they're not pricey at all.
Yeah.
At all. And that's the cool thing about them. That's the really cool thing, Like you said, you don't have to have expensive equipment to do this. You just got to have the passion and a little bit of drive.
And the time.
And the time. The time's a big thing.
Oh, and if you're doing haunted hotels, the money.
Yes. Yeah, but time, I'm hoping to be able to free myself up here soon and get a little more time to be able to do more. But back to the audio recorders, they really surprised me on how well they were going to do. I knew they were going to do well. I just never could have imagined what we got out of it.
Yeah. And if you were to go back over a particular investigation and like focus more on the audio side of it, like, what would you do different? Just pick one place we've done.
Oh, let's see. Knowing what we know about it. I'd probably go back to the Windsor and put, man, at least four, just at least four audio recorders on that third level, on the half where the stairwell is, and I would put another three or four on the other half of the third floor. Was that third floor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, third floor. While on both halves, while we're doing our investigation, it's just knowing the noises and things and the voices we heard. Maybe it could pick up a lot more of it. And, both sides were kind of creepy. But for sure, the stairwell side we had more out of it. We had more recordings, more audio, more experiences. But I would at least set up a minimum of 4 in that area.
Yeah. Like 2, like maybe one up in one of the storage rooms on the stairway side, and then one on the stairway, and then like on the other side, one in that big storage area, and then one in one of the back rooms.
Yeah. Probably put one close to the elevators, maybe.
Yeah.
And that may be for nothing other than just recording somebody coming in. But definitely those specific areas, and that could validate a lot or debunk a lot. But that was definitely an interesting place. And if we had the ability, I would run them the whole time we were there. Just do a whole recording while we're there, even if we're on other floors investigating. Activity never stops.
And that's another thing we don't really talk much about is the fact those recorders last about 6 or 7 hours on a full battery.
Yeah.
Like they have stupid longevity. Like that's one of the reasons why when like I'm in a room or something and I know my audio recorder's on full battery, it's weird for it to just run out of juice. Like when it runs out of battery, I'm like, okay, this is strange. It normally does not do this.
Yeah. What would you do different looking back with the audio?
I think what I would do, I would want to redo the Opera House audio side. And one of the things I would want to do is put recorders on the stairs, because you said it sounded like someone was following you down that one time.
Yeah.
We heard someone near the piano. And again, like there was the employee who we really didn't know the whereabouts of. So like being able just to like do a little bit better of spreading out audio so that if there is someone going toward a particular area, if we catch it on one recorder, we should theoretically catch it on another recorder, as like the procession from one place to another occurs.
Yeah.
And it was just such a big building. Like, I think you have 2 cameras, right?
I think I have 2 cameras and I know I have 2 audio recorders for sure.
Yeah. And I now have 3 cameras plus my phone and 3 audio recorders. And I feel like with that much gear, when you and I team up again, like a big facility or a large location would not even be a problem.
Yeah. The Opera House was big. We could have used a lot more equipment, maybe even more manpower.
Yeah.
But I want to invest in some more audio recorders for sure, over cameras and all that. They just, those things seem to be the best thing we had going.
Well, and there's that paranormal theory where it's just like, ghosts operate on a totally different frequency. And so just because you can't hear it with your ears doesn't mean there isn't communication happening, theoretically.
Right. And that's, well, you got the 2 theories. The one where we can hear them, but the cameras can't. And then.
Yeah, disembodied voices.
Right. You got the disembodied voices. And then the one where we don't hear them, but the cameras can.
And that's an electronic voice phenomena, EVP. Right.
And I think we got way more of the EVPs than the disembodied, for sure.
Well, and like one of the things you mentioned at the Bellamy Bridge and at the Windsor was when we were in the storage area of the third floor. You said that you did it. You thought you heard whispering.
Yep.
Yep. And
I thought I heard a bunch of that at the bridge.
Yeah, and that wasn't something that we ever picked up on audio. We didn't get it on the camera audio, nothing. It was just something you experienced.
Yeah, and then there was you and what was his name at the Windsor, where y'all heard the other footsteps behind me when we were walking through the storage area. Y'all heard the other creaking.
That was when we redid the singing. You and I forgot her name. You and the employee were downstairs singing Ring Around the Roses again, and I was upstairs, and beside me I heard the footsteps.
Oh yeah, no, that part, yeah. No, I was talking about when we went up there with the guy, remember, the employee? And I was just walking around, and you two were kind of in the hallway part of it, but y'all could hear an extra creaking that was close to me, but not at me. I don't know if you remember that, but I remember y'all talking about it, and we were specifically looking for that in the audio and never did find it.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you something that's come with the experience of just being in so many old buildings over the last year is that if you have a building that creaks, depending on what floorboard you're stepping on, you can create your own echo. And I learned that through trial and error, because I was like, I know I'm not being followed right now. I'm not the least bit creeped out. I'm like in the middle of broad daylight. There's other people in this hotel room or in this hotel right now. Why is this stairway? Why is this hallway, whatever, doing this? And what I found is some old buildings, like you step in the right spot and you'll create a creak like at the base of the stairs down from you.
Yeah.
And you're at the top. Like it's just those old floorboards. But no, I really don't remember. I don't remember that, but
yeah, I forgot all about the steps you heard at the top when we were at the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah, no, that one was weird because again, I turned the corner and where the steps should have been, there was just a stack of crates. Yeah. And what made that moment awesome is that it did pick up on audio, and it was clear as day on audio. Much clearer than the disembodied voice we experienced without all of our gear.
Yeah, the night before.
No, it was the same night.
Was it the same night? Oh yeah. That same night. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking the next day. Yeah.
Because
that was much louder than the voice. We picked up the singing.
It was just so low
on the camera, but it was nowhere near what we heard in the stairwell.
Well, no, we only had one of our audio recorders with us because we were charging all of our gear. We didn't bring any with us because we were just thinking, okay, this is going to be a tour. We can come back and investigate it later.
Yeah, well, we live and we learn.
So we're doing a lot of talking about the past. Let's talk about the future a little bit. Like, we've kind of already discussed, like, we want to do more with audio. We want to make sure we have our bases covered when it comes to having audio in specific places. We want to get better about that. Where are some places you would really like to go in that we've never been before, where you can really utilize the audio? Or maybe a place I've been that you haven't yet.
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe I'd like to go do the Hotel de Funiac. You went there. I didn't go there. You had some weird things happen. You had some pretty good audio. So I think a few more recorders set up certain specific places, maybe, if we can have what happened happen to you again, I think that would be amazing. But I know you even said that was kind of a big place. You kind of needed some more help. there, and a place we've never been, and maybe one of these weekends I can get over there. There's that playground we were talking about here in Alabama, yeah. Somewhere in Alabama. It's a pretty good drive from here, but the tails are no wind blowing or whatever, but one swing is swinging. It'll just randomly swing, and supposedly some kids died there or they're buried near there. I can't remember the full story, but play some good audio around. Maybe we can pick up some EVPs, some kids laughing, and things like that. Try to place a few of them around the playground. Maybe strap them to some of the equipment. Things like that. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I would really like to do the Russ house.
Oh yeah.
And that's really because of Mariana location. But I'd also be over the moon to do the Myrtles Plantation in Louisiana.
Ooh.
It's a huge ground, like it's multiple buildings over a huge landscape. There's the stories of slaves. People have caught audio of people crying and screaming and people in pain. They've caught audio of kids playing. There's people who have caught pictures of children of supposedly the enslaved woman Chloe, and just a whole bunch of things that have occurred there. And I think that would be for us an audio jackpot. I think that given the luck we've had and just the skill we've kind of built up over the last year of just practicing and doing it and going out and getting it done, I think that there would be some pretty good evidence to come from that. I really do. In fact, yeah. Myrtles is one of those places where I feel like that's one of the places I feel like could make me a believer if something big happened there.
Yeah.
In fact, cool. I'm probably a little nervous about going there for the sake that I don't know if I trust myself to not suspend my disbelief. Would I put my skepticism on pause? Would I stop thinking logically when I'm in a place that I would be so excited to go to and investigate?
Yeah, that's possible. So it's still one to do. It's still one to put on the list.
Yeah. Well, all right. This has been another episode of BS Talk, and thanks for joining us. This was our episode on audio recorders and the things we've done, the things we've caught, and the things we would like to do with them.
That's it. Yep. And until we see you again on BS Talk.
All right. Take it easy.